Hello. I dropped my gum so I'm not annoying the whole stream. And then I dropped my phone because I'm good at life and existing and whatnot. Okay. Hello, Chunk. So I'm gonna turn up volume on the stream. My mic audio is as high as it gets. That's cool. That's good to know. We love that for us. Don't we love that for us, Chunk? I'm gonna try and snag him so we can get like a little bit of a chunk. That's fine. I think the audio balance is fine. You wanna come here, baby? Hey, yo, baby. Hey, yo, baby. I got you. It's fine. Just say hi. This is my nervous baby Chestnut, but we call him Chunk. He wants to come cuddle, but he's like I said, he's a nervous baby. So he's waiting for his own time. He is not in a rush. Can you not? He was eating. He was like caught on my thing. My baby, you leaving? You can come up here whenever you want, Bubba. Let me open my notes so that way we can chat about this book. Because, oh my gosh, if you haven't seen, actually, let me go ahead and just read for y'all what I posted on the review that I did. Because this book released, I got the arc of this book, and it released on the 31st of last month. And so I wanted to get some words out there prior, because I wanted to get some words out there, out in the world, so that way, you know, they had something to work with. I helped out. I said something, gave them a whatever bump I can give prior to the actual release of the book. So let me sit down and tell you. Where's my Storygraph? It's on Storygraph. My hands are so cold. My fingers are so cold. Let me tell you what I said about this book. Just so we can all know, we'll all know the vibe that we're going into this stream with, okay? Okay, so I said I'll absolutely be doing a full stream for this book, aquí, but you know, life is hectic, so we want to drop some notes in the meantime. So my notes on Revenant Prince, basic introductory notes, right, okay. Going into Revenant Prince, I wasn't fully sure how this book was going to go, because Tethered Spirits, book 1, hit me so deeply and so personally that in my mind, I was like, well, there's no way this author could do that again, let alone like in the same series. And you know what happened? The author took this book right here that we read, and smacked me across the face with it. There's so many things about this story, from the way Valkyrie and Amar's relationship absolutely messed with my head, to the fury that Safar brings in me, but the pure platonic love between Aleida, Kamal, and Mitul had me in tears for the entire second half of the book. And I shit you not, let me hide my thumbnail really quick. You will, like, do you see how often in my notes, just so many sad faces? Anger, because fuck Zafar. But we also had more anger because Zafar is a little bitch. We had so much anger because Zafar is a entire fucking bitch. Hold on, we're reorganizing the tabs. Yeah. Fuck Zafar. There's some funny moments too. We love that too. But also tears and wait for them. They're coming back. They're gonna come back. Tears and more tears and so many tears, and we were just crying. We cried a lot in the process of reading this book. We cried a lot. I was genuinely an emotional wreck whilst reading this book. There's just so much tears. So many tears. Oh my god, I was not okay. I was not okay. I was not okay. I was not okay. But we're here now. And we're still not okay. I'm not gonna, like, even just putting together the notes for the book was very emotional for me. It definitely got me more than a couple times. But absolutely excited for book 3 to come out. So let's talk about what book 2 is, right? So book 2 of Revenant Prince, book 2 of the Curse of Shalvala series. I can go ahead and put this on the screen for y'all if you want to read along. So I guess we're getting rid of this thumbnail then. So you have, and this warning, I guess, there's going to be spoilers for book 1 because this is the second book in the series and it like all directly relates to that book. And there are going to be spoilers for this book too. Cool. If you haven't seen my stream, I did it was a couple of years ago that book 1 came out. God, that feels, what is time? But that stream is, I believe, on this channel. I can double, I believe that my Tethered Spirits stream is on this channel. Let me look. We had, if not, I assure you, I will be making sure that it finds its way over. Yeah, it's on this channel. It's on. What would you do if you lose? What would you do if you lost everything? Is the name of that stream, and yeah, that is the first book in this series, and that stream is on this channel. So at the end of book 1, you have Amar who has like this really, really cool, what do I keep calling it? Not reincarnation, but immortality, I guess. That's not the word I was using. The word I was using started with an R, but I don't remember what that word was. So we're just go with immortality, regeneration, revival, maybe. I don't know. He dies, and when he dies, he doesn't like stay dead. He comes back to life, but he loses all of his memories. So at the end of book 1, he gets killed and loses all of his memories of all of his friends. He also, like, earlier in that like period of time, he had regained all of his memories that he'd ever lost. And dude's been alive for centuries, at least 1 full century. This dude's old, but he's in like the body of like 18-year-old. And so he dies at the end and comes back to life, has no memories, and our main villain, Valkyrie, who is actually, that's not her real name. Her real name, I don't actually remember, but she is this like big bad witch lady who actually pretty much who is responsible for some stuff we'll get into in like just a second. So Valkyrie is a spirit Taraj in this world. Taraj are magic wielders, and if they die, they are able to pair with a living person. That person gives up like half of their lifespan in order to be paired, but they can now access the magic of the spirit, and the spirit gets to exist as a spirit for longer. So Valkyrie pairs with him. He has no memories, and she tells him that he is actually this prince that died like 12-ish years ago. He would be about Amar's like apparent age. This kid was killed by Valkyrie, but she's telling him that he actually didn't die and that it was an assassination attempt. They killed his mother, but they were able to get him away, and she was taking after him, but they got jumped. She died, and that's when they paired. So she's telling him this whole thing of lies, but he is now under the impression that he is Prince Severe of Valmondi. They go to Valmondi, convince the ruling king and queen, his grandparents, the grandparents, because they aren't actually his grandparents. I hit something. Everything okay? Is everything okay? I think we're good. But he convinces the grandparents that he's Severe, And now they want to go to war with the current empress, who is like someone's sibling, whatever. They're not like, they're related somehow, cousins maybe, I don't know. But they go and demand the current empress relinquish her throne to Severe, who's actually Amar. It's rough. Because but they're also slightly under the impression that she had him killed, but in reality Valkyrie killed him. She was doing it for the power. It's a whole thing. And because the empress is like, I literally saw this child dead, no, this is an imposter, they go to war. And Valkyrie is completely using him to get power and regain the power that she lost when she was killed for her crimes of killing the prince and his mother. She's trying to get revenge on the empress, and she's trying to get back her power. Saya and Kasari because in book 1 they had all been at the kingdom that Amar is actually from. And there they found the information on how to create the quote-unquote curse that gave him his immortality. And Saya brings it back to her tribe as an offering for her coming of age pilgrimage called the Hasef. But her uncle, the outcast, steals it and decides to sell it to like one of two, because their tribe is like separate from the whole like main two cities that are at war, and they don't want anything to do with these people, but these people are always coming into their land and stealing Davrak, I think is what it's called, because that can be used. No, actually it's a completely different thing. Never mind. They come into their land and steal a resource, I forgot the name of it, because it can be used to enhance the powers of a Taraj, of a magic wielder. But them over harvesting it is ruining their ecosystem, and it's going to make it impossible for these people to like survive in the land. So Zafar's thought is like, oh my god, here's what we do. We give them this immortality curse, so that way one of them can just win the side, and they'll probably leave us alone. And this is why I'm so angry with Zafar, because this is literally the most truly dog shit like idea I've ever heard in my life. You're telling me these people are actively trying to crowd and steal your land, and your idea is to give them the ability to never die, destroy all of their other enemies, and you think they're just gonna be chill with you? You think they're gonna just let you not also give them everything that they want? Like, oh my god, I can't stand that man. He was pissing me all the way off. After Saya and Kasari go, turn in the Hasef, they go to Altria, I believe is the other area. This is where Kasari is from. There was a magician that originally helped them get Amar's memories back. They want to go to his home and get his notes that he had taken on the whole thing, so that way they can recreate that spell. And then meanwhile, we have our buddies Aleda and Metul, who are like, they're already, they didn't go while Saya and Kasari were dealing with the Hasaf stuff. They went straight to the like cities to try and figure out where Amar is. And in that process, they run into Metul's ex Kamal, and it's like they all like, Metul and Kamal like get back together and romantically fall in love, and then they also like form a little family with Aleda, and like I said, the platonic love there had me distraught. Some of the major things that I want to talk about when talking about this book is I truly cannot stress enough how absolutely amazing the writing of this book is. It's so good. Let me look for some of the starred chunks of writing that I have here, because the writing is just so... Here's one, because you have a bit like a breakup, a separation between Matul and Kamal for a bit. What page is this? This is 16. So let's go to page 16. And we're going to check out this quote in the top right here. So you have a bit of a breakup between Matul and Kamal, and Matul is taking that really hard, but then he starts neglecting Aleda, and like her like feelings of this are, she didn't hate Kamal, not really though. Sometimes she wished she could. She was just so damn angry at him, Valkyrie, her weakened hands, and all this waiting. And Matul, damn him, holed up in his room with his heartbreak, acting like the rest of the world had disappeared. Couldn't he see that she was still here? And then if we looking at the side, the quote to the left of that is another really good one. This is about Amar and like him interacting with the people in like the war room as they're prepping for this war between the two nations. And for a while, people keep dismissing him because their story is that he's been in hiding in like regular class, under the regular class and under the lower class. So between him being young, people just have been ignoring him in these like war room sessions, in these professional stakes. But for the first time, someone was like, okay, we're gonna do what the prince says. And so the line discussing this is like, it's just such a good line to talk about the feelings in the situation. So here's this. They had listened. It was the first time he'd felt like he had any real power since he'd stepped into his role as prince, and that both terrified and thrilled him. With that kind of power, he could make a real difference for good. With that kind of power, he could just as easily set things in motion that would hurt the people beneath him. He would have to consider his choices and his words far more carefully going forward. Like, that's a really, really good line. It's also a really, really good awareness for this character to have, especially because the main not conflict, but the main thing that the main obstacle he needs to overcome to be rid of his curse is he needs to be able to atone for like the horrors of war or something to that effect. And he's literally walking into another war here. And so it's nice to see, whilst we are all stressing about what it's going to potentially mean for his curse, that he is starting another entire ass war. It's nice to see that he as a character is very much still, because there are like different bits in the story of him kind of recalling some things here and there, but it's nice to be able to see that him as a character, like deep down, these are things that he's considering, which are the things that need to be considered if his whole I need to like atone for the horrors of war thing is gonna work. Those need to be like real things in him, and it's nice to see those things coming up with him and those being considerations he as a character is having, even though he doesn't even know how desperately he needs to not be in this war. Woo! Let's see. What's another really good quote? Let's do this line, and then we can talk a bit about the way I liked this character like talking about Aleda's disability. So what page are we on? 12? Going to page 12. Okay, so we are going to look at this quote here. We're going to get rid of this so we can see it, everybody. Okay, so at this point, Aleda, cause she was originally like spirit paired with Valkyrie, but Valkyrie didn't need her anymore and saw more value in being paired with a dude that can't die, you know? So she ripped her spirit out, like, apart from Aleda's, and in that process, it nearly killed her. Reconnection successful. Okay. Well, I shall continue. Like, with the issues with her hands, she is just barely able to, like, hold a drawing instrument, let alone draw the way she used to before. And so that's something she struggles with throughout. In this part of the book, she is watching Matul and Kamal dance together and is just overcome with a desire to draw. But it's mostly shaky lines. It's not super clear. But when Kamal looks at it, he starts talking to her, and here's where we see this scene. Look at it again. Look at it again, Kamal said, holding the book out to her. Tell me what you feel. Ashamed, she replied without hesitation. Embarrassed, he laughed softly, but it was not unkind. Besides that, she examined the drawing and tried again, ignoring the churning in her stomach to find what lay beneath. Happy, I think. Alive. That's it. Loved, Matul added. She nodded, happy and alive and loved. All the things she'd been remembering when she drew the piece. All the things she'd seen in the way Matul and Kamal looked at each other. It was all there, captured even amid its imperfections. So I love that the story does allow her to continue with with something that's so important to her, with the drawing. But it doesn't push it in a way, because a lot of stories would usually take it to be like, oh, you can, one of these days you'll be able to draw exactly how you did and you've overcome the disability type of thing. But here she goes on to just completely shift how she goes about the drawing. She goes for a different style that is more accommodating to what she's skill wise and what her disability allows her to do. And that she is encouraged by another extremely successful. Kamal is an extremely talented and extremely beloved artist in this world. So she's encouraged by someone high profile in the art as well. She is able within herself to find passion in this and be able to find acceptance and love herself and what she's able to do in this moment and in this style with what she is able to do. And I really appreciate that being a thing, with that being the way that is approached in the story. So yeah. The writing in this book's phenomenal. Again, y'all saw all the tears. The relationship between Kamal, Matul, and Aleda absolutely destroyed me. Like, just because so much of Aleda is just not wanting to risk being hurt again. And, dog, I feel that. And just the slowly realizing that she's accidentally let herself bond to someone. Here's this line towards the end of the notes. Like, it's, and just, like, what it feels like to love people again. Here's this line. What a fool she was. She hadn't meant to get attached to any of them. Such bonds made a ruinous weakness when loved ones were killed or put in harm's way, as she'd learned too many times already. The last thing she wanted was to create more vulnerabilities for herself, or give Valkyrie more to steal from her. Now she'd gone and done just that. But so what? It was because of them, her friends, that she'd come this far. It was because of them that she was still alive, and if having people to lose was vulnerability, so be it. They could be her strength too. Like, how am I not supposed to cry? But, like, so watching her story of, like, going from having her grief and her pain and going to slowly form these bonds and form this love with especially Matul and Kamal, but as well the whole group. And then she goes on in this bottom left here. If Matul had taught her anything over the last few months, it was that sitting in grief and misery was a little more bearable when someone was willing to sit with you. She scooted across the floor to the cart to Kasari's side and mirrored her posture, knees tucked up beneath her chin. Like, she's starting to love everybody, and she wants to be there to support them because that's what they did for her. And I'm just emotional. I'm not okay. Ugh. last thing I want to talk about before we close up is I love absolutely everything about the way Amar's storyline was handled from the beginning. So every chapter, it starts with it says like, this is chapter blank, this character, to show you who the POV is. From the beginning, they were listing it as, like, the author was listing the POV as severe because he was convinced he was severe, and that hurt me personally. I'm not like that didn't feel good in my heart, which is exactly what it's supposed to feel like, but oh my god, it hurt. It did. And then you also have throughout the book, and this is something I like live tweeted as I read this book on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter as it collapses in on itself at Firestorm2343. But Valkyrie was so loving and so kind and so supportive to Severe. And so here I am literally reading the book. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Wait, no, focus. She's a bad guy. She's lying. She's lying to everyone. And so I would literally have to stop myself and be like, no, she's a bad guy. Don't trust her. It messed with my head, and I love that. Ugh. And like the process of him remembering who he is, because again, I'll read this. This is definitely gonna be like a major spoiler list, but the chills that I fucking got when I read this. I feel like I went too far. What page is this? I went too far, I think. Oh, I went so far. 25. Top right. This line literally this broke me inside. It's definitely a spoiler, but like it's kind of a spoiler, kind of not. But the writing was, it floored me. So here's the thing, because again, every chapter starts with the name of the character that it's the POV of, and his name has been in those chapter titles severe the whole book. But then you have when he's starting to get his memory back, when they give him the spell to get his memories back, you have this ending from chapters 41 to 42. The only reason they were fighting this battle was because they believed him to be the rightful heir to the imperial throne, but he wasn't a prince. He had been one once, in another time, another place, but he certainly wasn't their Prince Severe. He was only, chapter 42, Amar. I swear on my life, I would die for that line of text. I would go to war for that line of text. That destroys me. Even while I was putting together my notes, that hits me. Even as I was reading it just now, I just want to scream, but it's so good. The writing is so good. I'm so excited to see what book 3 ends up being. I need to read more from this author. She has more books. She has a lot more books. One of them in particular is like a dragon circus. I think it's like the Calico Circus. I made that up. Do 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 do. Made that up. Do 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 do. Made that up. Do 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 do. Made that up. Let me go to this author. Do 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 do. T. Hernandez. Calico Thunder Rides Again. So I only got one word right. But yeah. I should read more from this author while I wait for the next book to come out, because like I do have a lot of really good books coming up. I have a lot of really good books coming up. Also, I have a lot of really good good looking arcs coming up. But this book, absolutely, like I would not be surprised if this book makes it to my top 10 of the year. Like, not even the slightest. It was absolutely fantastic, and more people need to read it. But that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, valedictions, friends.